So let's show you it. You're probably all thinking, yeah, I've been talking about FusionAnalytics. What is it? This essentially is what FusionAnalytics looks like. It gives you a framework for analysing all this information and data. So let's take a look at this one first of all. This is a CPU chart. So this is just showing me the CPU memory usage of my server. But remember that this is from a long time ago. This could have been last week when my server crashed. Since then I've restarted 3 times. Things have changed. Maybe even the live log files on the server have cycled out. FusionAnalytics has a server capability where it will suck in these log files and start analysing them for you. So you don't have to keep all these log files, or you don't have to change the amount of data that you're storing, because it's all contained within the FusionAnalytics database. And for those of you that are generating an awful lot of data, maybe you have your own Oracle rack, maybe you have a SQL Server cluster, it will connect up to that instead. So what am I actually looking at here? First of all, let me scroll out a little bit. So I don't know if you saw that, but it's changed the resolution of the data. There's far fewer points on the screen now. And I can slide this all along the graph side and see what's going on. It's loaded data here as we go. I can, I'm using the scroll wheel on the mouse there so I can zoom in. And I don't know if you can get a feel for it across the projector, but this is actually pretty responsive. Okay, you get the little timer there occasionally, but this is an awful lot of data that's being passed around. We also have to remember that this is an air client application, so we can't be putting gigabytes of data onto that, because this is typically going to be on your desktop machine. It's not going to be on a server. There's a server component to it that will be potentially running on a powerful server that's doing your analysis, or it could even be running on your own desktop. But the point is that it's disconnected from the server element, so this has to show a lot of information without using a lot of memory. So here I can scroll in, again just using the mouse wheel, I can see all the different resolutions. As I scroll out, I can drop to a different resolution. If I scroll out again, maybe I'll start to look at doing yearly planning. I've only got 2 points there, so I'm looking at a very small point in time. But imagine if that was a year's worth of data, I can scroll out and see all that information. So you're thinking, okay, that's great. I can see some information from a past server crash. But where does that really get me? I could have probably looked through the log files. Sure, it would take me longer than opening up this application, but maybe looking for a little bit more value for money there. So if I can just close this window, let's have a look at some of the other views. Maybe you're new media, anyone in new media, so you've got multiple sites that you're hosting on one server, something like that, lots of different applications. Split it down by application, the number of page views, execution time on average, maximum execution time, the number of bytes that have gone back to the client. Maybe give them FTP access. Maybe suddenly they've started sending out lots of information through CF content or something. And you can see that straight away, all broken down by the application for you. Maybe that's not enough. Maybe you want to split that up by certain requests, maybe a certain session. I can filter any of the information on any of these screens using these filters down here, so I can filter by CF token. For a session, maybe a client IP address. Did anyone get hit maybe about 9 months ago now, the SQL injection attacks that were going around? Quite a lot of people got hit by those on the Cold Fusion servers. Maybe we could try and track those by, maybe you wanted to do that by request parameter. Maybe you had a certain request parameter that someone was always trying to hit your server with SQL injection. Filter it here, just list them all. It will help show you all the IP addresses, show you browser, user agents, show you any kind of information that you want that's in your log files. You can pull that out and view that. Again, the key here is it's all on the timeline for you. So if I scroll this across here, then suddenly I've got out the time range of where my data is, so I can see all these numbers changing. So if I scroll in, I know that my data is around this kind of area here. So hopefully if I zoom in a little bit, we'll start to see some of these numbers change. There you go, see one of the applications has dropped off. If I scroll back the other way, see these numbers changing. It's all really performant, comes back like that really quickly. Very, very important that it does come back quickly. Who uses Fusebox? Mac 2, Model Glue, yeah, a couple of framework users out there. What if you're looking at a screen that's listing things by URL, so maybe you have links index.cfm. Again, you've got these request param filters. Choose your fuse action, choose your event. Maybe you're doing SEO, so maybe you don't do that. Maybe you need to use patch element here. Again, all completely configurable. Everything that you see here can be branded, styled, configured, and really do whatever you want. Really very powerful stuff. So let's look at a real-world example. Let's go back to CPU. So let's have a look. Tell me on my server, when did my system do 100% CPU? There you go, big list. Just tells you every time it did 100% CPU. Right, okay, that's brilliant, but how about telling me what requests were running at that time? Right click, tell me the requests that were running at that time. And wouldn't it be great if you could just pop up like that, tell you what requests were running at the time that the CPU was doing 100%. There you go, straight on the screen for you. These represent the length of time that a request is running for. So we can see here that they're all quite small over there, but if I drag those into view a little bit better, and again, using the scroll wheel, I can just zoom in. I can see that I've got areas where there's tons of requests happening. So you can see there that it's not just a big grey block. I haven't just got a bit of demo data here, that there's a couple of requests. You know, you can see there's thousands of requests running on this system, and this is still really performant and helping me get to the information really, really quickly. So, what does that actually mean for us? We've got a list there of all the requests that were running when my CPU hit 100%. Without me even telling you in too much detail what this is actually showing, you can spot there that there's this big blue bar here. You'll have to excuse me if it's bright yellow, I'm actually a little bit colourblind. So I was doing a presentation once and I said, oh, this little blue bar here, and unfortunately I configured it for bright pink or something, but we'll try and ignore that. Anyway, so we've got this bar here, and it tells you what the request detail, how long the request is going for, but now you need to know what that is. So we can click on that, hopefully, maybe not that one, there we go. At least one would work, the demo effect, I'm afraid. But I can see exactly what's running. I can tell you the URL. I can tell you what the memory was when I ran that request. And you think, okay, that's good, you know, I'm starting to get some information back here, but tell me a little bit more. So I double click on it, and up pops another screen, which tells me what was that request doing. So here we go, it tells me all the SQL statements that request ran. I can see the URL, the CFM page, the template, and the line number that request ran, that SQL request ran. Also, these time pie charts. If this has run multiple requests, then this pie chart would split up the amount of time for the request. So I can see very simply in one pie chart, are all my SQL requests slow, or is just one SQL request slow? And that helps you very quickly identify, is it a problem on the database server? Is it a problem with that SQL? Maybe it's a problem with an index on that table. Very, very quickly you can spot these trends. Request execution time breakdown. That, say you're reading in a CSV file and writing that to a database. How long is it doing I/O time? How long is it doing SQL request time? How long is it spent doing CPU time? This pie chart will break that information down for you. Again, very, very simple to use. Just double click and it pops the information. So that gives you a very good amount of information. But maybe it's a more complex problem. When a couple of people say they've looked at the JVM logs. A bit complex, don't want to be looking at those in too much detail. How about if I just say, well, I know this is a problem request. How about you just show me the JVM log at that point in time? So right click, up pops the JVM log. I can see what errors have occurred. Maybe, has anyone seen the client storage purge problem? You see a CPU usage go right up. Maybe you configured your client storage to use the registry by mistake. Maybe you've got a lot of things crawling your website and they haven't, they're generating lots of information in the client storage.